Welcome to the bright side of 50. Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome to another episode of the bright side of 50 with Carla Palmer. Y'all, I'm going to get right to it. Today, I'm going to be talking about the power of aunts and their contribution to the lives of their nieces and nephews, specifically childless aunts. Now, why am I talking about this today? So this thing happened to me at work that I want to share. I work in the nonprofit space, and the organization that I work for, we have counselors who do direct service with the youth, the young people who have come out of foster care, or those young people who are currently in foster care. So the organization that I work for has housing and education programs for foster youth. There is a specific counselor who I really, really love. She came over to me one day when we had an all-staff meeting, and she said, I just want to tell you, you remind me so much of my aunt. And I said, I do. She said, yes. And I jokingly said, oh, was she a rich, successful auntie? And she said, actually, she was. She was so dope. She was vibrant. She had it going on. You know, she owned her home. She had her business. And she was telling me all of these great things about this aunt and how much this person impacted her life. And she started tearing up because she missed her aunt so much. It was almost as if she had lost a second mother. And it made me realize the power of aunts and how much they contribute to the lives of their nieces and nephews. My son has a few amazing aunts, one of them being my sister, but you know, she's a blood relative. And then my best friend, Shauna, oh my gosh, he loves this woman so much. It's like she's mom number 2. It's insane. So, I wanted to dedicate this episode to aunties because I think that they are often forgotten, especially those who have no children. And sometimes they feel like, you know, they've been forgotten by God because they didn't get to have any kids. And some of them don't even have any husbands. And I want you to know that you're important. You're valued. We can't do this life without you as parents. Seriously. The other thing that I want to say about aunties is they get to choose to be in your child's life. Even the blood aunties, they get to choose. They didn't have that kid. They have no responsibility to that kid. They get to choose. And it's an affection that surpasses any obligatory bond of family ties. It is. They don't have to be in that child's life. And it makes this relationship so valuable. This child is getting like a mentor, a friendship and guidance without the pressure of this being their parent. It's so beautiful. And they contribute so much to your child's growth and confidence and resilience. We can't forget about the aunts. Their presence ensures that kids feel safe and seen and valued a lot of the times, because parents, we're busy, man. We've got other demands that we're facing. We're trying to make sure the house is taken care of. We're trying to go to work, come home, clean, cook, do homework. Aunties don't have to do all of that, especially the aunties that don't have any children. And so when they show up, they get to show up fully. They choose the time that they show up, and they get to spend time with your kid, and your kid gets to be sometimes removed from the stressful parent who is always parenting, and they get to spend time with the cool auntie. And so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. They have a different perspective as singles. So think about all those children of married and single parents who have aunts and uncles who are single, and they're out there living full, fulfilling lives. They're pursuing their careers, and they're passionate about building their businesses, and they're reaching their goals. And all of this expands what your child views as a successful, joy-filled adult. It's not just what they see in their parents. Oh, you grow up, you get married, you have kids. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that to be happy. You don't have to do that to have a joy-filled, fulfilling life. You don't. You can be a single person with no kids, and you can be out there doing the darn thing. And so kids get to see this with this this aunt or these aunts and uncles who are in their lives and they're single and childless and doing life their way. So they get to see this and they get to understand something that culture doesn't always present as a positive. Marriage is not the end all be all. It's not the only way to have a happy life. And so when these kids are seeing these aunts and uncles, they're seeing like, oh, happiness comes in so many different forms, not just parenthood. Okay. Other roles of aunts and uncles, especially aunties. I'm talking about aunties. So I add in uncles sometimes here because I know that there are men who also listen to this podcast. So I don't want to forget about y'all. There are some cool uncles who listen to this podcast who are single and have no children. You're dope too. You're dope too. So know that you are valued and loved as well, seen as heroes and role models. You're an essential part of the village too. Okay, here we go. Invaluable to family support system, stepping in as extra hands and emotional support, someone who consistently shows up for important events and milestones. I cannot tell you how many events my sister and my Shauna, who is my son's, oh my gosh, everything as an auntie. She's my best friend. She has shown up for everything. So we've been friends for about 16, 17 years. So she's been to all the graduations from elementary to middle school to high school. She's been to the concerts that my child has done. He's a rapper. He's an artist. And so she goes to those. She also has been over to the house when really terrifying events have happened and I have been an emotional wreck. So there was one incident when my son had gone to a party that he was throwing. He had thrown a party and he wore a really expensive piece of jewelry that someone had loaned to him. And I believe it was valued at like $70,000 or some crazy number. So they had loaned this to my son and he wore it to the party. I believe he was followed home. And so in front of the house at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, he was robbed at gunpoint and pistol whipped. Now, imagine the horror, the terror of me hearing a car speeding off and someone running up the stairs, my son running up the stairs, banging on the door. Mom, open the door. Mom. I opened the door. He's bleeding from the head. He's been robbed. His bag has been taken. His jewelry has been yanked from his neck. And he's alive. And I'm so grateful that my son is alive. But I'm terrified that this has happened. First person I call, well, we call the police. First person I call is Shauna. Shauna comes over immediately. And she is there. And she is comforting. And she is calming me down. And she is seeing about her nephew. And it's just so wonderful to have her presence during this time of need. And she was there and she was calming. She's also a therapist. And so she offered that perspective. And my son was so happy to see his auntie. She also went to the emergency room with us because we had to see about his head getting taken care of because of the gun that was used to whip him. And so she was there. An ever-present support that we need. I'm going to say it. We need her. We need the aunties, especially us single women. Okay, I don't even want to go down that road, but I just want to say, those of us who are single women, we don't have a husband. Woo, let me tell you about these aunties, okay? Shared responsibilities for a lot of them. Shauna has taken him places. She has provided support, financial support. And then let me just talk about the support that aunties provide to their biological nieces and nephews. Not just the nieces and nephews of their friends, but their biological nieces and nephews oftentimes get the resources that the aunties can provide because they don't have their own children that they're opening up accounts for and leaving financial support for or legacies for. So they're doing it for their nieces and their nephews. And it's a beautiful thing. So we cannot forget about these heroes that are often not talked about enough. They are amazing. They are like the neutral piece that a child needs to go to sometimes for confidential conversations so they can feel safe and they can get support in navigating some of life's challenges. They're amazing. So as I recognize and honor these remarkable women and men, I want to express my deepest gratitude for their love and their wisdom and their generosity, because they are generous. They're generous with their time, their resources, their hearts. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the aunts in my son's life. I want to say thank you to the aunts in your life. I want you to share this episode out to the aunts in your children's lives, whether they are blood relatives, uncles and aunties. Let me tell you something. So there was a time when my child was younger, and I used to say, my girlfriends, I would be like, oh, your auntie such and such, or your auntie such and such. And so I had a number of girlfriends that I would do that with, and it was mostly all of them. And so one day, he was old enough. I don't know how old he was, maybe 8, 9. He said, Mom, all your friends are now my aunties. I want to pick my aunties. Basically, he was saying, enough of you designating aunties for me. I don't even like all of them the way that you like and love them. Let's just keep it 100. He was like, I'm not really feeling all of your friends the way that you are. So let me pick my auntie. Please let me pick my auntie. Don't you name another auntie for me. And I heard him and I respected that. I respected that because so often we push our children off on people. Oh, hug your auntie. Oh, go hug your aunt or uncle. And a lot of times there's trauma that happens to children when we force them on people. And so I was like, well, maybe he's getting a read on some of these people that I'm not getting a read on. Or maybe he just is not feeling them personality wise. Maybe it's just not a good fit. So let me stop saying to my son, oh, your auntie such and such. And so, he was like, knock it off, basically. But when he met my girlfriend, Shauna, he was like, Mommy, Shauna can be my auntie. I want Shauna to be my auntie. And I told her that story, and she felt so good and so loved and so accepted because this kid chose her to be his auntie, basically his second mama at this point. And so he got to choose, and she was just loving it. So you guys, just don't force people on your children. Let your children decide who's going to be their auntie, especially if it's not a biological person. And love all the aunties, respect them, treat them right, take them to dinner, buy them gifts. There should be like a national auntie day. And maybe there is. There's a national donut day. There's national everything. There has to be national auntie day. There should be if there isn't already, because they are such treasures in our lives. And we have to love and respect and honor their presence and all of the sacrifices they make for our children. Some of them go to parent-teacher conferences. They're there. They're supporting with birthday parties. Let me tell you something. They don't have to do any of this stuff. So when they choose to do it, they are choosing to love your child. They are choosing to be a part of your life. They are choosing to help you. They're choosing to help you. They're choosing to spend money to get on a plane to come to another state or another country to spend time with your child. They're choosing to do that. They don't have to. They have other options. They can do whatever they want. So if they choose to be in your child's life, they are making it a point to sacrifice something else that they might want to do to spend time with you and to support you and to love up on your child. So we have to love and respect and value these heroes in our lives. And so, like I said, share this out with somebody. Let them know that you value and you love and appreciate them. And I will see you on the next episode of The Bright Side of 50 with Carla Palmer. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.